grow our souls together in a way that is healthy and whole and complete for all of us. And so that's sometimes when you are dealing with you being somebody who's starting to wake up, who's starting to speak this new way of thinking, and you're living with a toxic family, it's almost your responsibility to educate them. And you're the mom, so luckily you're not the child trying to heal your parents, which happens to me a lot. I will get children who get brought to me, and it's really the parents. And so then I'm teaching a child how to heal their parents through them. And so, you're actually in a lot of control. You have the ability to kind of create a new way of thinking with your family. And usually when children will get in the space of a coach or a healer, there's enough powerful interaction and questions that they'll be very excited and on fire for this new family that you're going to create.
Wow. Okay. So where is it mostly in your particular area, Lois? What is it about the kids that they're doing right now? Is there like any one thing?
Well, my family has always, my grandmother and my mother, even my dad, it's always because of my deafness, that I can't do things. I shouldn't be doing this, or I should be living, near family or with family because I can't properly take care of my children. So with my children, especially my older two, it's, well, you don't hear me, or if I ask them a question, they mumble it. And when I, say I can't hear you, it's like, well, that's too bad. I've already said something. If I ask them for certain things, like, I admit I'm very overprotective of my kids because of, working, almost 15 years in law enforcement. And I want my kids to tell me where they're going, who they're with, and they're telling me that I have no right to that. And it's just basically the things that they've overheard my family say to me, that I shouldn't be doing this, or I have no right for this. They feed back to me. It's like, well, you know what, we're going to do this. We're 16 and 18, so we can do whatever we want to.
So, Natalie, how would you, I'm sorry, how would you respond to that? How would you,
Well, again, one thing that I want to kind of make clear that I actually think works in my favor is I myself do not have children. And I think that that's why I can be a pretty powerful coach for families sometimes, because I'm able to look at things from a pretty kind of objective place of being. But one thing that I do want to impress upon Lois is you're the mother. And so if these children are choosing to live with you under your roof, and you are providing from them, then there are rules and boundaries that need to be set. And if they are not going to adhere to them or follow them, then I would say there is the door. And, please feel free to go and find some other place to stay. It would be just my way, and that's why I would probably be saying, we're going to be going to this coach or this person that we're going to work with because this is not acceptable. And, I understand the fact that they're kind of modeling behavior, and I don't know who's living with who and what your family situation is. Because of that, sometimes when you can't physically get away from a toxic environment because of the living situation, it can be more challenging. But I will tell you this, you can hear me on the phone right now, so I would not say that there would be any obstacles. And I think that sometimes we just have to kind of get out of the family story. And that in itself is a boundary issue, right? It's them trying to make you continue to live in their story that no longer serves you anymore.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And so then it's about one of the things that I was telling Kristen when you came on is when I started setting new boundaries, it would be about going to your parents. I don't know how much interaction your children have with them, but going to them and saying, these are the new things I'm working on in my life. I'm working on self-confidence, and I'm working on taking care of my needs and becoming the best of who I want to be, what I'm just making this up right now. And then you could say, in order for me to do this, Mom and Dad, I can't allow you to talk to me the way you do anymore.
Absolutely.
I can't allow you to say things to me that are harmful to my vibration and to my being. And so if you continue to talk to me in that way, I need for you to know that you can no longer be a part of my life, or I'll just not be able to talk to you all the time. And so if I feel that you're doing any of those things, I will let you know, and I will give you a chance to stop. And if you don't, then I'll be hanging the phone up, or I'll be leaving the physical contact of where we are together.
Wow.
And then you have to stick with it then. And then just gently remind them when they're doing it, oh, remember when I told you about that thing I'm working on with myself, about being confident and taking care of myself? I'm noticing that you're affecting that right now, and I don't like it. So I'm going to, remove myself. And then it would be the same with the children, is these are the things that I'm not accepting in this home anymore.
Wow, that's awesome. That is really great. And how often
is that something you think you could do, Lois?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is something that I have done with my kids, and they actually just laugh at me. My daughter actually no longer lives in the home.
Okay.
I've actually removed her from the home. It has changed somewhat. She has come to visit right after I had my surgery. She stayed with me. There has been a little bit of changes in how she and I get along, but where her and her siblings get along, that hasn't changed. Where my oldest son, who is 15, will be 16 on Thursday, that hasn't changed. We still butt heads, and I keep telling myself it's just that, teenager thing, but it keeps going. And I finally told him he needed to go look for a job because he needed to start saving up money. As soon as he turns 18, he's out of here.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing too, is, it is okay to, you never ever want to think of anything in permanent terms, but it's okay to kind of go into self-preservation healing mode. And if you yourself are in a process of figuring out what your boundaries are, who you are, what you'd like, it's okay to kind of pull back from, quote unquote family. And it's not that the family won't heal later on. I will tell you that in my process over these last 4 years, there were times where I had to pull back from my family. If I wouldn't have done it, I would not be here. Right now, I wouldn't have healed this much. Sometimes it's just about that, and then when you return back, then the vibration, they can only come into what you receive.
Yeah. And that's what I've done. I don't speak to my father anymore because that was a toxic relationship. I don't speak with him anymore. And that was the biggest cause for me to move to Arizona, was to get away from the toxic, I can't even say the word, the issues with my family, because it was so negative.
You're so cute. You're like, I'm just going to, Yeah. Well, those are all challenging things. But I think just starting with maybe that and seeing, and sticking to it. Wouldn't you say, Kristen and Leif?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. It's a lot of just sticking to it.
Is the hardest part.
I know. When I was raising my children, I didn't have those issues, but I had other issues. And I know I was a very difficult child. My parents had, I was a very, very difficult child. And my parents laid down the rules to me. You can either abide by the rules or you can get out. And my dad had absolutely no problem telling me to get out. And on a few times, I was put out. So I'm not saying that.
One time
I was put out.
Yeah, and my dad told me I had to bring all my clothes back because I came into the world naked.
Oh yeah, my parents told me that all the time too. Yeah, but they had issues with me, and my dad told me, he said, because I had a younger brother and sister, and he says, you know what, you're not gonna cause your brother and sister and your mother pain like this. You can take you and your garbage, and you can get out, and don't come back until you can act like a normal human being. And I would leave, and I would come back, and eventually, I got myself together. Like I said, I haven't had to do that with my children, thankfully, yet. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's what you should do. I'm just saying that's what my parents did with me, and it worked very effectively. I'm sure it was painful for them. I should have my mother on the show one day. But definitely it's one of those that I know that, maybe not. But it's definitely one of those, Lois, really being firm in your boundaries and firm. You are the parent. You are living in the house. And how can we get you to a level of empowerment that is going to enable you to make those difficult decisions? And I think everything Natalie said is, Natalie, you couldn't explain it any better than what you did. That was absolutely beautiful. But I am going to have to cut in here because we have to close in exactly 3 minutes here. So I didn't want to interrupt either of you in your flow when you were speaking, but thank you. First of all, thank you so much for Lois for calling in. And if you want to, Leif and I would be more than willing to work with you. If you would like some, coaching help on that, we'd be absolutely happy to help you with you. That no charge at all. We can certainly, if you're in an area that you want to do something like that, we'd be happy to help you, and we can talk about that at a later time. Okay, sound good?
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think Lois, that would be really beneficial and powerful for the family to experience.
Exactly. If that's something that we had to come to the house or do it, whatever, and sit everybody down and really get on a level like that, because that's not good for you, and it's not good for them, because they learned their behavior from your parents, and we have a situation going on as well where children are learning behavior from their parents, and it's just as negative, and we're getting in that cyclical environment of, the parent in the middle being the abused one, which is you. And you're getting it from both angles. So we'd be happy to discuss that with you. If you're down for that, you can let me know. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you very much, Lois. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon, and I'll be in touch, and take care of those little kitties. They're so sweet. Lois is fostering cats for me. She's been absolutely amazing. Yeah, she's so sweet. Thank you, Lois.
You're welcome. Actually, one of them sitting here looking at me, talking on the phone with you.
They're so darling. Thank you again, Lois. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and to you, Natalie, too. Thank you so much. I know that the first part took us longer than anticipated, but you had some really awesome things to say about that. That was really great.
Yeah, I have some pretty deep feelings about family, actually.
I can tell, but it's because you've had your own family situation. That's what makes you a good family therapist. Because, like we said, it's really hard to coach on these things if you don't have the experience to back it up, if you haven't been through it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to all of the people who do transform themselves while they're married or have children, because I did not have to do that. I don't have a spouse and I didn't have children. And so you can literally rip yourself apart, and it doesn't matter as you're doing it who's getting, and so, transforming like Lois is trying to do. She's reinventing herself while she has a toxic family that she's still responsible for. And so I want to give, I think I honor that. I think it's a powerful experience to have. I know. I
do as well. And with my own children, me getting sober and being married and going, it is just an overwhelming feat. But yes, it can be done. And it is amazing work that we're learning to do. I'm so happy that we have these skills. And thank you again, Natalie. I know.
Thanks
I know.
for having me.
You're
welcome.
Really
appreciate it.
All
right. You take care, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, so that was just like huge.
That was really cool. I was just kind of sitting here behaving myself, more or less. Sometimes a little less than more. But it was really pretty cool. I mean, Natalie really had some takes on a few things that, it's kind of unique. It wasn't exactly what I would have thought.
No, it really gave me some insight too. Yes,
it was good. It was, yet again, something to put in my arsenal, because I have a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old. We have some more still coming up. We're not done with our family raising yet.
Right, and I know I'm a little, and one reason I really resonate with Natalie's philosophy is because I am a little bit more rigid. I am a little bit more strict when it comes to raising children, because I realize how quick it can slip out from your, and I don't want to use the word control. It's the wrong word. When you have children that are under the age of 18 that you're legally responsible for, you do have to learn how to maintain a particular order where you are the parent and they are the children. And it's not that you're beating them down or they're less than you. It's that they are your children and you do have a particular responsibility. So anyway, we are going to have to say goodnight because we're out of time.
Well, we're going to have to wrap this up, but, we'll do one shout out for Natalie here of Blissful Living. And we'd really like just to thank her again for being on the show. I'd like to thank you all for joining.